Eighth gold coin. Champion's attitude. It was a breathtaking scene to see the long-distance swimmer Diana Nyad, at the age of 64, cross the distance of 300 kilometers between Cuba to Key West, Florida on September the 3rd, 2013. She carried this dream with her for the last 35 years, and she finally achieved it after 4 previous failed attempts. The moment she came out of the water, she had a message with a champion's attitude for all of us. This is what she said. First, never, ever give up. And secondly, you never are too old to chase your dreams. Let me share with you another true story. Many decades back, in one of the Gulf countries, when oil and gas reserves had not yet been discovered, an oil drilling company was on the search for oil reserves. They made intense efforts day and night for around 5 years, but all futile. They were unable to find even the slightest trace of oil. Nothing was discovered, even after such a long period of time. After this pathetic outcome, waste of efforts and resources, drilling companies' management in the US reached to the conclusion that no oil reserves existed under the surface in that region and decided to abandon the search operations. They sent an urgent cable message to the manager in charge of drilling and ordered him to stop for any further activities and to wind up all the search operations. When this message reached the manager, who was still very certain about a positive outcome, that oil surely existed in that zone, he ignored the message and passed on an entirely different message to his team, contrary to the orders he had received. He stated to his team that just had received fresh orders from the management to drill a little deeper, and if we do not discover anything, then again, drill a little deeper. His team, who was totally unaware of the whole scenario, followed that command, and on that same day, a miracle happened. The company hit their first ever oil reservoir, and after that success, there was a series of oil reserve discoveries that started happening on much more frequent bases. This first well was given the name Prosperity Well by the country head. Have you got the interesting lesson embedded in this true story? When, irrespective of all the efforts, everything seems to be falling apart, when all the conviction and long-held beliefs do not bear the desired fruits, it just requires an extra little push, some extra little efforts to achieve what you have been aiming for so many years. However, the dilemma is that many people change their course in the last moments towards their goal without realizing sometimes that they had reached so close to their objective where only a little extra push was needed. If you are aiming at something precious to achieve and have already exhausted your energies over the years, the mantra for success for you is to be persistent and drill a little deeper. Some time back, a creative engineer named John A. Roebling was inspired by an idea to build a spectacular bridge connecting New York with Long Island in the US. However, bridge-building experts throughout the world thought that this was an impossible feat and told John to forget the idea. It just could not be done. It was not practical. It had never been done before. The project started, and when it was only a few months underway, a tragic accident on the site injured John and left him with a certain amount of brain damage, which resulted in him not being able to talk or walk. All he could do was to move only one of his fingers, and he instantly decided to make the best use of it. Slowly, he developed a code of communication with others when he tapped out his instructions with his finger onto the arm of the technical team until the bridge was finally completed. This process took around 13 years to complete. Today, the spectacular Brooklyn Bridge in the United States stands in all its glory as a tribute to the triumph of one man's indomitable spirit and his determination not to be defeated by circumstances. This story shows us that dreams that seem impossible can be realized with determination and persistence, no matter what the odds are. We all face obstacles in our day-to-day professional and personal life. However, have you realized that our hurdles in reality are so small in comparison to what many others have had to face and overcome in their life? History proves that all the mega success in this world has been achieved by those who have faced the toughest conditions and resistance from others in their life. They were humiliated and rejected by many, but one thing which kept their dream alive within themselves was their unshaken belief and their self-determination. So if you also want to become a part of that mega success bandwagon in your career and life, then the starting point to generate that determination is to focus from today on the aspect of what resources, abilities and potential you have in all the circumstances, rather than focus on what you do not have, and then start from there. This simple shift in focus will ensure that you will build a mega superstructure of your success someday. You are the only one in your world who is so important. Let me ask you a question. Whenever you look at any of your group photos, who is normally the one you try to spot first? Don't you think that will always be you, irrespective of how important the other dignitaries present in the picture are? Are you aware that you have been blessed with a unique set of genes, fingerprints, and a blend of emotions and personality traits? No one in this world is exactly alike, and there will never be a repeat of the same in the millions of years ahead. So what does it reflect? You should not strive to become a copy of anyone. Rather, you should become the best version of yourself. Have you understood that your race for excellence is only against yourself? You have to set the highest possible standards for yourself and then strive with commitment to achieve them. A general challenge with the majority of people is not that they establish higher objectives in life and do not follow. Rather, in a majority of cases, they establish lower objectives and achieve them. This causes them to stay where they are. You can spot many examples easily in your surroundings when people are quite contented with meagre salaries and income and poor health standards and doleful relationships. Absence of goals in our life is also one of the core reasons why we do not attain a champion's attitude. One day, while I was sitting beside my son, who was deeply engrossed in watching a football match, I observed how much excitement he expressed whenever the ball came near the goalpost. In that instance, I asked him some interesting questions. "Osama, will you enjoy this match if they remove this goalpost from this match?" The moment I asked this question, he started looking at me to see if I was kidding with him. Then he replied, "It would be of no fun to watch such a football match without a goal." He is right. It is of no value or fun to watch a football match without a goal, or to play basketball without a goal, or any other game for that matter. But have you ever realized how much easier it is for many of us to live our entire life without any defined goal and purpose? This is truly the differentiating feature which always separates the high achievers from the underachievers. Remember that the high achievers always live with their specific goals in mind. Now, an interesting phenomenon is that some people have established their goals, and still many of them lack the compelling reason why they want to achieve this specific goal. Let's take a simple example you might have seen. Many people aspire to lose weight and to get into shape. It also appears to always be their New Year's resolution. The question is, why have they not achieved it yet? The secret answer is that the reason of losing weight is not yet very compelling for them to make some essential sacrifices. For example, some of them just want to feel good or to impress the opposite sex, and so on. Is it compelling to go through the sacrifices in food and other routines and discipline which is essentially required? One of my friends shared his funny success story about when he drastically lost weight. It happened when his company notified him to remain fit in order to maintain his job. Have you noticed the difference here? In this case, he got enough compelling reasons to put his every effort towards sustaining his living. It does not mean that you should also wait for such reasoning to happen with you. Rather, establish a strong, compelling reason on your own in all spheres of your life behind all of your goals. Without compelling reasons, all of your goals will be like an airplane without wings. Another important aspect which champions know is that in this universe, in order to achieve anything of worth, they must pay the associated price of it. For example, you want to grow in your job, so you must learn some new skills. Without establishing the price and making conscious efforts to pay that price, all of your dreams will remain in the desires list and they will never mature. In life, there are going to be many people who will try to bring you down and tell you what you want to achieve is not possible. Don't let anyone destroy your dreams. The number one reason why people don't get what they want is because they give up too soon. Often when you feel like you want to give up, you never realize how close you might be in making a huge breakthrough. Let me tell you another interesting story of a person who is still a very famous golfer with all the big golf championship titles under his belt. But it just so happens that once in his life he lost some of his key tournaments in a row. Then the same media which always praised him suddenly became so critical and negative towards him that he felt like hell broke loose all over him. He felt so depressed and dejected with everything that was happening that he decided to call for a press conference in order to confront all of the people who were against him now and had forgotten all the other magnificent achievements and rewards which he had collected for his country in the past. When he decided to call for the press conference to emphasize on his past achievements and give some lessons to his opponents, his mother met him on the way to the conference hall and asked, what does he intend to do? Under the intense negative emotions, he replied that today he would reply to all his opponents in such a way that they will remember such a lesson for the rest of their lives. His mother said, "Then this answer should not come from your tongue, rather from your golf club performance only." This person learned million-dollar advice that day, and he was none other than the famous golf champ, Tiger Woods. In our life, a great many times, it might happen that we are also stuck in a similar situation, where despite all of our wholehearted efforts, it appears that nothing is working for us. Where on the track of success, forces of darkness surround us. We take certain blows from which our feet are uprooted, and we are forced to lick our wounds. In such moments, if you realize that you are surrounded by negative criticism and people have literally forgotten your past achievements and they are just thrashing you to let you know that you are finished, then pick up the champion's attitude. Purge any of the negative thoughts and emotions out and stand firmly on the ground with your head held high as your performance club is still in your hands and your answer to all the critics should only come through this club and not from your tongue. So the best way to attain a champion's attitude is to take the following steps. First, make sure that your goal is moral and worthwhile and that you have enough solid reasoning behind you to pursue it as well. The bigger and more intense the reasoning, the more resilient you will be in the face of all the adversity which will potentially derail you from your goal. Be truthful with yourself that there will surely be some difficulties, setbacks, ups and downs along the way. It is hard, and you have to establish the price of what you will pay in order to achieve your goals in clear terms. Think of a realistic plan to achieve your goal with no option of giving up. Any hasty decisions you take to leave your job to pursue your dream will create stress and it will take you away from your goal. So take smaller steps and proceed with a smooth transition. It is well said that inch by inch everything is in a clinch. Believe me, you are stronger than you think. One little setback is not enough to stop you from achieving your goals. Neither are 10 or 100 or 1,000 setbacks. You can and will achieve what you set out to do. One more essential ingredient in champions is resilience. Just recently, I was in a meeting with a successful entrepreneur of a multi-billion-dollar company. I asked him what was his one quality which he thought contributed to the never say die attitude, and he promptly replied, ability to be resilient. He further added that this had also been the one significant quality which he always looked for in people for bigger responsibilities and titles in his organization. You can experience this phenomenon of resilience by just throwing a rubber ball on the wall or the floor. Notice that the harder you throw the ball, the faster it rebounds. So resilience harnesses your inner strength that helps you rebound from a setback or challenges, such as a job loss or being superseded and so on. It is the strong ability to roll with the punches when stress, adversity or trauma strike. There are some tips which, if considered, can make you super resilient. Always look at the bigger picture. Any adverse thing is an opportunity to learn some valuable lessons, and failures are not personal. These are just events. You must stay physically fit, as the better shape you are in, the more energy you attain. You should always stay positive in all situations and circumstances. Learn from your challenges. Think back on how you've coped with hardships in the past. Consider the skills and strategies that helped you get through rough times. Focus on today. Do something that gives you a sense of accomplishment and purpose every day. Remember, resilience won't make your problems go away, but resilience will surely give you the ability to see past them and become an evergreen winner with a champion's attitude. Summary points. 1. Age does not matter against the determination to achieve bigger objectives in life if someone is truly committed to one's goals. 2. Every human being is blessed with a unique potential by the Creator. 3. Absence of goals in our life gives us a feeling of apathy. 4. Every goal needs to have some compelling reason behind it to be materialized. 5. We need to pay the price in advance to achieve anything worthwhile in this world. 6. Resilience is the key ability to achieve and sustain success.